Hello, welcome back to the channel, and it's now time to look back at the July solar stats, where in Swansea it looked like we were going to have some summer at last. So let's move straight on to the first graph, which is my solar generation. So to remind you, I've got 12 Qcell 385 watt panels on the roof, which total a peak of 4.65 kilowatts. That goes down into a 5 kilowatt inverter, which is made by Solis, and I also have a 5 kilowatt hour pure drive battery. So as you can see from the generation graph, it looks like it was coming in waves. We were getting some good generation and was building up, and then it would drop off a cliff, and then it would build up again and then drop off. So throughout July we had some days where it was getting good, and then some days where it was quite poor weather. As you can see, the worst days we were only generating about 5 kilowatt hours. But on the best days we were generating up nearly 30 kilowatt hours. And over the whole course of the month, this meant that we have generated a total of 586.6 kilowatt hours. So let's see how that transfers into money savings and money making through things like SEG. So I am on Octopus Flux, and if you are looking to change your energy supplier and you're looking to move to Octopus, if you can use my code, it would be a great help, because I get £50 and you get £50. And a big thank you to those who've already started using my code. So normally we use roughly 210 kilowatt hours per month. We have a gas hob and we have gas central heating, although the heating is currently off, and so we're only ever using it to heat hot water from a combi boiler, and we don't seem to use that much hot water anyway. Anyway, this month, throughout July I should say, we were a little more heavy-handed with the electricity. We were using the oven more, we were doing longer cooks and things like that. So we actually used 245 kilowatt hours, or consumed 245 kilowatt hours in July. So if we were paying the price cap of just under 23p, that would have cost us £54.77. But because of the flux tariff that I'm on, there is a cheap period from 2 AM to 5 PM where my import is only costing me 13.43p. And in the daytime, or most of the day, I'm paying the price cap of 22.37p. That's what I calculated that £54 from. And then there's a peak period between 4 and 7 PM, which we don't import any electricity in because we rely on the battery. So every night in that cheap period, I top the battery up to 100%. And then use that throughout the day. So it does mean we get a reasonable amount of import throughout the month. So we actually imported 70 kilowatt hours. And obviously we used that towards that 245 that we used. So that 70 kilowatt hours actually cost us £9.89. So we take that off the £54. What it actually means is we saved £47.27 on our electricity bill throughout the month of July. So that's quite a nice saving. What I should say is I'm not taking into account my standing charges. So I have standing charge for both electricity and for gas. I am currently looking into the possibility of getting a heat pump and seeing what that would entail. So please make sure you hit the subscribe button to keep up to date with my journey on heat pumps, my solar journey, looking at how my solar panels are working, and also my science videos where I break down the science behind solar panels, batteries, and just general green tech. Okay, so let's move on to the SEG payments. So actually, before I go there, let's just have a breakdown of how much I spent on import. So we know it was £9.89. So out of those 70 kilowatt hours that I had to import, 66.3 were on the low price, so between 2 and 5 AM, and the day import which is just when the battery has to import a little bit just because we might have a peak in energy use, or just to keep the inverter is constantly checking with the grid and always sending a bit importing a bit of electricity. That was 4.41 kilowatts hours. So the low rate we spent £8.90, and there was another 99p spent on the daytime rate, and as I say, there was no imported again on the high rate. As far as export is concerned, so I'm on the Flux export tariff as well, and throughout the month of July I exported 435.4 kilowatt hours, and again, like the import tariffs, Flux has different rates throughout the day. So I don't export during the night when it's only pays about 4p per kilowatt hour, but I do export throughout the day when it's 15.08p, which, if you realise, is more than the import rate during the cheap period of the night. Hence why I fill up the battery overnight, because I get a net benefit of about 1.5 pence per kilowatt hour. Whether that compensates for the battery degradation of having to do charges up to 100% is debatable. And also during the peak time in the evenings I export at 22.75 pence. I do not force export, it's just any excess generation I have from the roof goes straight out from the grid. So during the daytime rate of that, I exported 346.6 kilowatt hours, and during the high evening peak throughout July I exported 88.8 kilowatt hours. So that means that from my export during the daytime I generated £52.26, and from the higher rate evening export I generated another £21.21, so that totals £27.47. So my seg payment for the month was, as I say, £42.47. My money that I saved that I would have had to pay to an energy company was £47.27. So this totals £119.74p. So I'm talking between pence and p there, which is pretty much exactly what we generated in June, where we had a total saving of £121, and it was a bit better than May, which was £115. So over the past 3 months we have generated £355, which isn't bad against our payback on our solar panels. So I had my solar panels installed on the 24th of August 2022. So I'm coming up to having them for 2 years. So at the end of this month, so at the end of August, or after the 24th, I will look back and see what my total generation has been over the past 2 years, what my total money from SEG is, how that's been split down from year to year, what my total savings are, and how much that has paid off my initial costs. So one more graph to show you before we wrap up the video. This is the generation graph of year on year, so this looks at the generation each month, with blue being the 2022 figures. So as you can see, August is very low from 2022 because we only had the panels for a week. We've got a full set of data from 2020-23 in August, and the grey is the 2024. So this month was the second month of 2024 where we actually had a higher generation than in 2023. Though it hasn't compensated for the lack of generation we had in the previous months. So let's see what August has in store for us. So as always, thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. It's the easiest way to help the channel. If you want to monetary or support the channel, there is a join button, in which case you get videos like this a little bit earlier. And as the channel grows, I'll be able to offer more perks to those who have joined the membership. Anyway, as I say, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another video very soon.